And we're live.
Do you ever have dreams about motorcycle accidents?
No.
I do.
Yeah, it was a big thing.
All the time.
Are they motorcycle accident wet dreams?
In my dreams, I'm just like so uncoordinated and like awkward on the bike. And you know, it's very surreal, right? So the bike sometimes is flying, and sometimes the bike isn't even moving, and sometimes the bike is at hyper speed or something like that. But I'm just like, I just feel awkward. Like, I don't know. I look and there's no pedals or something like that, and I'm just sort of like,
there are no pedals.
You know what I mean? Pegs. my feet are just like kicking behind the bike.
That's a trick of your nervous system. Like, you know, when you fight people in your dream and your punches always feel
awful.
weak.
Oh yeah,
because you're kind of partially at least paralyzed while you're asleep, so you don't wake yourself up and act out the dream. So when you do a thing, you're giving those signals, but your arm's not moving. So your brain knows like your arm isn't moving in reality, but that feels weird in the dream because you're still kind of expecting to feel that.
You think that's
it'll land and nothing happens.
Because I've also heard people think that it's it's a mental thing. That it's a mental thing. Like because a lot of dreams are about not being prepared. For example, like, you know, I always have the nightmare where surprisingly I'm back in high school and I don't know where my classes are because I haven't enrolled properly in classes, and like final exams it's time for final exams, and I'm like, how am I here on the last day of a semester, like expected to like make everything right, like right now, like I have that dream a lot.
And that's funny because you didn't care about school when you were there.
Well, for something like that, I did like
gotta graduate.
Yeah, you wanted to graduate, and that's sort of the nightmare. Really, is that like graduation might be on the line, and it's like I need this class, and I was careful with that when I was like going through high school. Like all right, the math checks out, we're good.
I've had that same dream so many times, but in my case, it's not last day. It's like whatever.
Sometimes it's mid-semester
into it. Yeah, I realized, oh my god, all this time I was supposed to be doing this class. Now I have to catch up.
Yeah, it's so common. I have that exact mimic, Woody. Like I've been out of college as long as you, obviously, but like I always wake up and I'm like, you stupid idiot. Like why do you like worry about that? But yeah, it's always like I'm sitting in my dorm and it's halfway through the semester and I'm checking online and it's like I'm in a finance course.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh fuck! There's no coming back. And then
why has no one notified me?
And there's very little that happens after that in my dreams. Like it's just like I get really stressed out about that, and then it'll either like shift to a different.
Mine will go
end.
on and on. Like I will have these long narratives where I'm trying to solve that problem, and it'll involve like just like talking to teachers and principals and stuff, and trying to cheat and like all sorts of like backhanded like efforts to like. Because the thing that would happen to me sometimes is like when we got our like first quarters like report card, if I was failing a class, then I would have to start doing the math, right? Like, all right, what do I need to make on this test to make the average go up to this? And that's where I did most of my calculations in algebra. it was figuring out.
Get it. So I think I'm very different than all of you. I have extremely wild, vivid, and mostly lucid dreams, but there's also usually another me in my dreams that's aware of the world outside me. So it usually sets up traps and various things for me for when I wake up, and it's very hard to deal with.
So I sometimes have lucid dreams. I don't understand what you're talking about with the second you, but so I'm very interested.
So if you can look this up, you can look up, I'll type it in the chat, Jungian Shadow. Probably my more evil myself, like think Nega Scott. But for a good example is I had a dream with my wife when she was then my girlfriend. We just took a nap in her dorm. And I woke up in her dorm and things were normal, but she was some sort of evil witch and she tried to choke me and stab me. So I punched her in the face. And then she put a bag over my head and suffocated me. And then pow, I wake up again, a different place. And every time I wake up, there's a different person, usually my girlfriend, telling me, I'm going to keep you asleep forever. You're never going to wake up and you're always going to be stuck here with me forever and ever and ever and ever. You know, all sorts of spooky stuff, head spinning around, eyes turning black.
What's wrong with you,
just
man?
over and over and over. But so here's the trick. The thing that's doing that in my dreams is aware of the situation around me. So I'm dreaming the real world. And 8 times in a row, I wake up in a nightmare scenario of the room that I went to bed in. So finally, it's like, have fun. And then, pow, I jump out of bed like a lightning bolt, scare the shit out of my girlfriend. And the first thing she says is, hey, it was just a dream. Just come back to bed. You know, she's like putting her hands on me like, come on, let's come back down. And of course, I think it's going to be another one of those loops where some sort of horrible monster tries to put me down. Awesome. Or there was an instance in my dorm room, I used to have like a big full body mirror or whatever. It would kind of face the bed. And it was the same kind of thing of mirrors over and over again. And the evil version of me saying, I'll be waiting for you when you wake up. I'm real now, by the way. Have fun. Pow, wake up, jump out of bed face to face with the mirror. And the idea is that it's trying to trick me into acting out in the real world. But thankfully, I'm smarter than whatever that is.
That sounds horrible, man.
So I'm going to recommend that you go talk to a professional about all that stuff you just shared with us just now.
Yeah, like a dream doctor who can shut that down.
No, like a real doctor with like a degree and stuff.
I've done that. Just an absolute quack.
That sounded scary as fuck. Wait,
I have an entire series on my channel about it.
I'm sorry, I'm a little high, but are you describing some sort of a dream demon that you communicate with?
I used to think it was a demon.
Now you know.
I mean, imagine this. Imagine you wake up in an office room, right? And you're strapped down to a chair and you can't move. And then an evil version of yourself looking identical comes and sits down and slaps a giant book on the table and says, you're stuck with me for the next 12 hours. I'm going to read you a list of all of your sins. Oh, and by the way, you can't breathe the whole time you're here. Pow. 12 hours of suffocating while you hear about every single bad thing you've done in your life, like stuff like that. Now, I did go to therapy for all this, and it's all done with. All I had to do was kill that thing and consume it, and I haven't seen it in a very long time. So,
how did you do that? Did it work on the first try?
It was at the end of I had an extraordinary dream spanning a couple of years, probably. I turned it into a series for my channel, and resolved personal conflicts. And then about a week later, I went and I woke up in the conference room again with evil me. And the implication was that it was time to finish this. So all I did is kill my doppelganger, so to speak, tear it to bits, eat all the flesh, and become one. And then you're normal again.
You know, that's literally like you're describing like a Freddy Krueger movie.
It's like a Twilight Zone thing. So how did you get him to pieces? Did you tear him to pieces? Did you have tools?
With his hands.
And as you're doing it, you know you're dreaming. Are you
correct?
And you're not tasting anything.
Oh, I tasted a plenty.
Oh, that's gross. What part of you was what part of you was the grossest?
What part of you was the tastiest?
All tasted mostly like blood, like uncooked meat.
You didn't cook yourself?
No. It's all nasty stuff. But
save your dream self some worry.
Yeah, so those are my dreams all the time. It's basically, imagine you would go to sleep and wake up in a world that's created by your alternate self. Now, in that, you're free to move and do kind of whatever you want, but you don't control it. So you wake up in various sort of nightmare scenarios over and over and over again. But if you try to wake up and break free, the other you will try to put you back to sleep through more effort. Now, I did learn a trick where I could always wake up. If I can get my heart rate up high enough, it'll wake you up automatically as like a safety system in your body. So when I know that I'm dreaming and I know that I'm stuck in a dream and it wants to keep me there, all I have to do is focus for a minute and raise my heart rate high enough to where I start like sweating and it'll just like pop me right out of bed.
This sounds like a horrible way to have to sleep. I'm glad
I haven't had so much problems in the last couple of years, so
that's good.
Well, did
the lady, like when you went, or the I'm assuming it's a lady doctor, maybe you said she, but like when you went there to her, I'm picturing like you walked through like a bead curtain to sit down in her or something like that. And when you explained your situation, she's like, oh, this is something we experience all the time here.
Did she have one like milky eye?
No. She was very young.
Milky eye. We all pictured a milky eye, right?
So I did this in college. She was a very young, like less than 30, relatively petite new psychiatrist working students for free. And she had no idea what to make of me, looking at stuff like dissociative identity and schizophrenia or whatever. And after about 3 sessions of explaining this, she arrived at the conclusion that I typed in the chat over there, which is Jungian shadow, based on Carl Gustav Jung's various philosophies about the anima and animus. It just kind of competes with Freud's id and ego as a system.
Well, it worked, so something went right.
Well, probably.
So is this supposed to take care of it forever? Or is it something where it's like, well, when it comes back, I have the arsenal, I'll handle it real quick?
I think it's more of the second. This type of issue would come up with a conflict within yourself, typically. So that's how it comes out. But it always comes out in crazy dreams. So like I'll dream for, I said like years. I've had a dream where I was in a dream for like 100 years. I woke up the next morning, I didn't know what the fuck reality was. And you're laughing? Okay.
It's like that Rick and Morty game.
This is 10 years before I tried a single drug. I never drank, never smoked, didn't do anything. Like none of that stuff. Totally sober, at least chemically normal, right? Happened all the time. Always have crazy dreams.
Yeah, I've never had anything that horrible.
No.
When I was little, I had a recurring nightmare that I was late for school, and like, you know how you're leaving you leave the kitchen through the garage, and like you hit the thing and it starts closing the garage door, and you have to run and like jump over the little sensor and get outside. It was a very short dream. I would run, I would trip, and then my head would be crushed by the garage door closing.
So bad.
Which could never happen, as we all know.
No, it would have stood. The garage door would have broken.
I
and like
think of the head.
Even like, and I never really thought about this. Like in the dream, I remember like the reason I tripped is because I was like, I have to jump over the sensor, but then like the thought of the sensor disappeared when I fell down, and then like it comes down way faster. Crushed my head. I haven't had that since I was a child. Yeah, but yours.
So did you feel it though? Like in your dreams, do you feel things? Like when you get cut or burnt or hit or something, do you like feel it?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't.
I never feel it.
I usually will. Yeah. Sometimes I'll do that thing where I like try to pinch myself on the leg or the arm to try to determine whether I am in a dream, and I'm like, well, that hurt a little. Like how much is it supposed to hurt? You know, like I've literally had that thought so many times where it's like, well, that hurts a little. I mean, how often do you pinch yourself in real life, though? Right? Like,
yeah.
I don't really remember.
If I start like slow walking, that's when I'll know I'm in the dream. You know, like if you're trying to get somewhere quickly and it's taking an eon to walk, and every step feels like you're exhausted. That's when I'm like, oh, I'm dreaming.
Gun stuff is really interesting, right? If I need to like shoot some kind of a monster or something with a gun, I can't pull the trigger. Like it takes so much effort to pull the trigger. And forget about like finding enough bullets to actually load a gun. Like I'll have a pile of mismatched bullets and like 8 guns. And like by the time I do this sort of like okay, I got 1 of these and 3 of those and 2 of these and 4 of these, I have 1 bullet and 1 gun, and the bullet won't go in the gun. Like it's just a nightmare. And then I wake up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your hands don't work right. Your body doesn't work right. The slow punch is something everyone's experienced. I feel like it
just doesn't happen.
Where you're just getting the shit kicked out of you because you're just too slow.
Almost always have like the slow-mo fighting technique and the guns that don't work. And sometimes the trigger will be so hard to pull that I'll get my second index finger in the trigger guard, and I'm literally going, ah! I'm doing like,
you ever wake up like that?
You know those hand exercisers? Like I'm doing basically like, so it's, you know, like 250 pounds or something to like pull this trigger, and I can't fucking pull it to like shoot the monster or whatever the fuck it is. And that's got to be like some sort of mental thing, right? That's got to be some sort of like not being prepared for
like an inability to react to a threat. Like that's something everybody's fearful of. So
sure,
makes sense.
Sure.
Did you ever like have fun dreams? Or are they all horrible? Oh, that's good.
I would say it's about 99-1 horrible to fun, but I have fun dreams. I have normal ones, late for class, school stuff, but my average dream is waking up in some sort of scenario that you'd probably see in a movie.
That would make me like so stressed to even try and fall asleep if I was dealing with that all the time.
When I was in college, I basically didn't sleep.
You know, since you know, have you told these things to your medical doctor? You know, the one because it does seem coincidental that you have both.
Derek knows the other guys
medical
know.
Condition that no one can put a finger on, and you've also got like what sounds like one of the Freddy Krueger movies going on as well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's not an external thing to my head, but it's problematic to deal with on vacation.
Pretty sure is the phrase I would use. Yeah.
But no, I've told my medical doctors it's something, well, as it is needed. In the case of working with Derek and his team, they know. I kind of gave them a rundown on some of that stuff. So yeah, it's not something I keep secret. I literally did a whole series about this on my channel, like 20, 25 videos. I have more coming this Halloween because they're scary stories and stuff. But it's a weird experience to basically wake up in a movie indefinitely, years.
You're an
months,
interesting
weeks,
study
whatever.
for hallucinogens, though, right?
I've never done a hallucinogen, so I don't know.
Ooh.
And marijuana doesn't really affect this one way or the other.
That doesn't count. That's like the mildest of hallucinogens. Like I don't know, like colors might look a little brighter to you. It's about as intense as marijuana gets. But like LSD or DMT or mushrooms or something would be interesting. Maybe I don't know, especially DMT, the way that's described. I want to do DMT. It sounds
a little
so
bit
scary.
scared, given the information I've just given you. The odds of me going on a not so great trip are a little bit higher than I thought.
Yeah, you're gonna go to a scary place, but it'd be cool.
But it's 15 minutes.
A cool, scary place, yeah.
Right? You can do anything for 15 minutes.
Yeah, but it's time dilation, and he's already seemed to experience some. He says he's experienced some ridiculous form of time dilation in his dreams.
Yeah.
So like he could take DMT and never come back.
He's just permanently there.
When he comes back, he doesn't know English anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I don't want to do that.
I understand time dilation, but somehow I'm like, but it's bullshit. It's 15 minutes.
But it's perceived.
You will get to the other side.
Yeah, it's perception. It's not literal.
But you guys have never experienced anything like that? I just hit you with some crazy shit here in the middle of the show?
No, that sounds real scary what you've got going on. I wish you the best with it, though.
Okay. Oh, no, it's sorted. I've got that
literally sounds like
sorted
demons.
out. I used to think it was when I was in high school or in college. I used to think it was a demon that I'd have to deal with every day.
I think 5% it is. 5%.
5% chance. Like 1 out of 20, baby.
People are too quick to rule out demons. Woody's always like, no way, it's demons because those aren't real. And I'm just like, yeah, probably. You got to leave a little bit of a chance in there that it's demons. There's
no evidence that there are demons.
I mean, there's no evidence that there are demons, and there's no evidence that there aren't demons.
Well, that
doesn't make those equal.
Yeah. There's no evidence that goldfish don't fly when you're not looking.
But aside from demons, you've never
seen
had
those
a dream
flying fish, though.
reality.
You've seen those, right? The ones that like come out, and those can go for a couple hundred meters with the wind.
They're not goldfish, though.
I saw them though. It was on the Animal Planet.